I think everybody's told to go buy the 50mm as your first prime lens. I bought it, but is it the best lens for you? So today what I did is I counted down the top 5 most popular prime lenses by the number of photos that people submitted on the big photo hunt. But watch the upvote count as we go down the list because everybody's favorite prime lens has a hard time keeping up. Okay, coming in 5th place with 12% of the prime lens photos that we looked at, it's the 28mm. But even though only 12% of the photos that we looked at used the 28mm lens, it actually had the highest average upvote score, meaning people liked the photos that this lens produced the most. And that was an average 19.28 upvotes per photo, which is the highest of all 5 lenses that made this list. I think this is a lens that's popular with a lot of journalists because it's helpful to get close and feel intimate, but yet tell the whole story without the distortion of, say, a 14mm lens. And when using this lens, you really have to pay attention to your composition, which can be a daunting task. So a lot of times I think photographers veer away from it. But the numbers here show that even though there are fewer photos at 28mm, the people that did submit 28mm photos were rewarded because of their story and the intimacy that this lens can portray. In 4th place, coming in right behind the 28mm with 13% of the photos submitted, is the 85mm, that beautiful portrait lens. And to me, I was actually surprised at 2 of the genres that this lens was most popular in on the big photo hunt: nature and street photography. And I'm sorry to say, Mr. 85mm, that in addition to coming in only 4th place, you actually had the 2nd lowest average upvote score of all of the lenses on our list. 15.2 upvotes per photo. The 85mm can produce that beautiful background blur. It's got that very expensive portrait shot feel, but at the same time, it's kind of a one-trick pony. You can lose all sense of the environment and the story in your photo, which, as we all know, and especially in the big photo hunt, storytelling is the key to a good photograph. Coming in 3rd place, which is kind of exactly where I expected it, it's the 35mm lens with 16% of all of the prime lens photographs that we looked at. And it's also the 2nd highest most upvoted lens with 18.42 average upvotes per photo. By the way, if you're new here and you're wondering what the big photo hunt is that I keep mentioning, it's the online community for amateur photographers that I created, and it is arguably the world's most friendly photography community. It's really friendly. Okay, coming in 2nd place, well, we already know that the 50mm came in last place, but what we don't know is how low it scored in total average upvotes. 2nd place, which was a total surprise for me, but then when I looked into it, I realized maybe not, because the genres that it is most popular in happen to be 2 of the most popular genres on the big photo hunt. 2nd place, the 24mm lens with 20% of all of the prime lens photos submitted that we looked at. And I know that these differences aren't great, right? They're 14, 20%, it's not that big, but it is a difference, and it is the number of photos that were submitted. The main reason that this surprised me is because it is a harder lens to work with. You really have to pay attention to your composition, and the edges can get stretched a little if you're not careful. But if you work with this lens well, it is really great at telling a story and capturing the scene, especially in landscape and travel photography. As for the average number of upvotes that each of these photos received, that was 18.28, which is coming in squarely in 3rd place, right behind the 35mm lens. And when I do use this lens, I like it because it can get objects in the front to appear really big, which is great if you're doing landscape and let's say you want a rock or something right in the front of the foreground. It can make that rock kind of pop and look bigger than it is and create that foreground for your photo. Okay, 1st place, the most popular prime lens on the big photo hunt, and there is no competition here whatsoever. Coming in with 40% of the photos submitted, it is, as I said, the 50mm lens. But the catch is that It also received the lowest average upvote score of any of the lenses that we looked at. I'll get to that in 1 minute. I do want to say though, I think the problem here is that these photos, as beautiful as they are and as human eye as they are, oftentimes just feel like a snapshot. They're not capturing as much story as some of the other lenses unless you're really deliberate about making your subject the story. A lot of people are submitting photos with 50mm lenses, so it's kind of like, oh look, another 50mm lens? I don't know. But I do know that despite being the most popular prime lens on the big photo hunt, it also got the lowest number of average upvotes, and that was 14.92 upvotes per photo, which is 25% lower than the least popular prime lens used on the big photo hunt. I don't know why. My gut tells me that those wider lenses are telling better stories. Also, the 50mm being everyone's first lens that they buy, it may just attract people that have less composition or less storytelling skill. So there may just be a correlation with people using 50mm lenses and maybe a lack of storytelling, which is really hard. I'm still trying to build my storytelling. That is the one thing I'm focused on, and I get it. It is very hard to do. So if you're thinking of going out and buying the 50mm lens, should you still do it? Sure, it is a great lens. It was my first prime lens. If you have a 50mm lens, should you throw it away? No, what are you, crazy? I've had this 50mm, it literally comes off my shelf maybe once or twice a year. I love this thing though, I'll never get rid of it. But if you are stuck in a rut and you're a big photo hunt member with your photos just not getting the amount of upvotes that you'd like, try going wider. Jump onto a 35mm lens, a 28 even, and that should give you more context and storytelling in your photos, which we know that on the big photo hunt leads to higher upvotes. Just more connection with your photo, which people want, people need. They need that gut. Yeah, that wow, that oh, this is an amazing photo. Thanks for watching today. If you're looking to know which camera brands made the best photos on the big photo hunt, I've got that video posted here. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.